Hi there. Welcome to Bourbon Turntable. This is the show that blends the love of music with the love of whiskey. And tonight, the love of horse racing. Sport of Kings. Sport of Kings, right? Yeah. But no kings, right? Okay, yeah. I heard that was a thing. Anyway, um, Sport of Kings, Kentucky Derby 152. And so I'll be sharing my picks with you, whether you want to hear it or not. Maybe you'll fade me and bet on somebody else. Maybe you'll like the horses that I like. I don't know. Let's just see what happens. I have made myself a blackberry mint julep. In my Kentucky Derby 152 glass, official glass. There you go. Purchased today at Target. Um, quick story about near disaster in making a cocktail. Um, Today, I was getting a bottle of lunch at house and decided, well, I'll go ahead and make up a simple syrup. I want to do a blackberry simple syrup. So sugar, water, a handful of blackberries. Get the pot going on the stove, and got a call from a client walking in the other room to grab a document, start talking with them, get off the phone. What? I smell something kind of sweet and burning. Well, then I remembered you have a simple syrup with blackberries in it on the stove. So I run into the kitchen, and sure enough, there's smoke pouring out of that pot. And so turned it off, got it off the heat. And if you ever want to know what um, exploded, scorched blackberries look like, it's pretty much soot. And so I open windows and light candles to try to get the smoke smell out, and uh, had to clean the pot, and it did not come clean initially. And then I googled, okay, how do I clean a scorched pot? And so here's fun fact for you. Um, Couple tablespoons of baking soda. Put some in the pot, the baking soda in the pot, bring it to a boil, let it boil for about 15 minutes. That stuff came off pretty darn easy. And I was very concerned that I had destroyed my wife's cookware, which would not have been a good thing. So anyway, uh, cheers. I'm not typically a mint julep drinker, but you know, tis the season. It's really very good. Yep. Blackberry, yummy. All right. So Kentucky Derby time. Big news. Tedeschi Trucks Band is going to be singing the anthem at the Derby, so that'll be a highlight for certain. So I'm looking forward to that. But let's go ahead and start talking about some races. Um, the favorites are morning line favorites, because this has changed dramatically, and there's a funny story there. The morning line favorites are from the one post. See, one post is bad news typically. Um, Horse hasn't won from the one post since 1986. So 40-year curse to the one post. Plus, it is a horse owned by Mike Rapoli, who has had favorites scratch in the Derby a couple of times. He's had bad post position draws a few times too. He's always had some great horses. Typically, I think every time trained by Todd Pletcher, who's one of the most successful trainers in North America and the world. So this time he drew the one hole. Rapoli, who made his billions in vitamin water, and now I think is a big St. John's NIL booster. So Rick Pitino, there's another Kentucky connection there. So anyway, the one Renegade is the morning line favorite. Number 6, Commandment, was this in the top 3 of the morning line choices at 6-1, and Further Ado, who is further outside at the 18 position at 5-1. Renegade came on like a flash, deep closer to win the Arkansas Derby, and Commandment won the Florida Derby. Commandment is one of 3 horses in the field trained by Brad Cox, and is on a 4-race win streak, so that's not too shabby. And Further Ado absolutely romped in the Bluegrass Stakes last month, and so that is pretty impressive, and it's thought that Further Ado may be placed towards the front. Commandment's probably more mid-pack, and Renegade will be a deep closer, which a lot of people say, well, that kind of negates the negativity associated with the one post position. So those were the top 3. And when I say were, because live betting's already started, and I'll talk about that in just a second. The next tier, in terms of morning line favorites, the 8, So Happy. Mike Smith is the jockey. This is his 29th Kentucky Derby. He has won 3 or 4 of his races, shipping in from out west. The concern that I have with this horse is I'm not sure that he will want to get that distance. Number 9, the Puma. We will talk more about the Puma in a few minutes. Won the Tampa Bay Derby in a grueling stretch run. So that was kind of, battle tested, ready to go in the Derby. Number 12 is Chief Wallaby. Probably kind of a stalker. Won his maiden race, hadn't won since, but has run really well. Close losses in the Fountain Youth Stakes and the Florida Derby. He may like the extra distance with his breeding. He's kind of the wise guy horse that a lot of people have been. Every year there's at least one horse that everybody just really talks up around the track and in media. And this year it appears to be Chief Wallaby. Number 14 is Potente. It's a Bob Baffert horse. Bob Baffert is tied as the winningest trainer in Kentucky Derby history, despite being suspended a few years ago for some, let's just say, shady dosages of medications to one of his horses, Medina Spirit, which I had bet on and won. But Potente won the San Felipe Stakes, second in the Santa Anita Derby, and is also likely to be forwardly placed in the typical fast pace of the Kentucky Derby. Now, Derby Day, I may do one mint julep. I may put that blackberry simple syrup to use in an old fashioned. That might be good. But I'll typically try to have a really good selection of Kentucky bourbons for Kentucky Derby Day. Wild Turkey Kentucky Spirit is one that I'll usually have. Tonight I also am drinking, in addition to my mint julep, Four Roses Small Batch Select. I may get a little bit more of a premium pour for Kentucky Derby Day, but I really enjoy the Four Roses products. A small batch select you can get pretty much anywhere. Find it at Costco at a really good price, usually around $50, and it is quite delicious. Cheers. So, in addition to picking the winner, you've got to also decide who are the horses you're not going to consider, because it's a 20 horse field. None of these horses have ever run in a 20 horse field before, and they never will again. So it's always crowded. In when they come out of the gate, everybody gets bumped, everybody gets shoved around. If you miss the break, you're toast. And that's one of my concerns with the Puma. The Puma has broken slow in a couple of his races. If he breaks slow in the Derby, he will be done within seconds. Now, there are, as I said, we already have live betting going on. And the Puma, as we saw here, morning line odds were 10 to 1. 10 to 1. Not bad, okay, but not amongst the favorites. Right now, and I'm looking at my twinspires.com page. Right now, the Puma is bet down to 5 to 1. And that is, odds are cut in half. Earlier today, he was bet down to 7 to 2. So, what happened, you may ask? Well, a couple of things. I think one, people like the horse. The name is interesting, the Puma. But then yesterday, Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce bought 10% of the Puma. So all you Swifties out there can put your money down on Taylor Swift's horse, and please do, and don't bet on mine, driving the odds down. So this kind of stuff happens a lot. Not that some mega celebrity billionaire buys a horse, but there's usually some sort of pop culture point that gets beat to death, and people overbet some horse that has no business being bet that way. And it was a really excellent horse, and one that at 10 to 1 I probably wouldn't mind betting. At 5 to 1 or 7 to 2 I will probably not bet that horse, just because the odds are too short for what I believe are his chances to win. So again, like I was saying, you got to decide who you're not going to bet. And sometimes it's okay, this horse doesn't have a chance. Sometimes it's like the Puma, where I think that it's going to be overbet, and the odds are going to be too low to make it worthwhile. And sometimes the horses just aren't quite good enough. And so I'm going to give you my list of horses to toss, with one asterisk. Albus, I made some money off of Albus betting at the Wood Memorial, but I think this horse needs a pretty quick pace and needs to be able to come in from the clouds. I don't necessarily see that happening. There are too many other really good closers in here. Intrepido ran the fastest 5 furlong workout in Derby week history. Hey, how about that? I think there's some distance questions with this horse. Really hadn't had a good race since October. Probably ran his Derby race in his workout earlier this week. Litmus Test is a Baffert horse, probably near the front. Been in pretty poor form in 2026. So toss. Right to Party, the Beastie Boys came out and bought Right to Party, then might consider betting on this one. But otherwise, I just don't think this horse is quite good enough. Dannon Bourbon is typically a front runner horse out of Japan. Now, bred in Kentucky, shipped to Japan. has had 3 very dominant wins against fields that nobody has any idea if they're any good or not. And 2 of those wins were in sloppy conditions. So I'm going to toss Dannon Bourbon. Wonder Dean is is a Japanese horse that has raced in the Middle East, won the UAE Derby. That's how he made the Kentucky Derby field. Just really can't see me betting that horse. You know, at some point, one of these foreign horses is going to come in and they're going to win, and then that'll be that, and it'll kind of break through. But I just don't know that this is the one. Um, uh, Silent Tactic won Southwest Stakes, but appears to just not be good enough here. I just don't know that he's going to match up well enough against the talented other horses in the field. Although I won a little money with him at the Southwest Stakes. Pavlovian, kind of a front runner horse, has raced a lot, 10 career races, close second at Louisiana Derby. But again, I think there may be some distance concerns with Pavlovian. The 17.6 speed has run in the Middle East. This horse just really doesn't belong, in my opinion. Let me skip the 19 for a second, come back to it. Full Effort. It's the third Brad Cox horse in here. Has never raced on dirt, has raced only on turf and synthetic. Won the Jeff Ruby Stakes in earlier this spring. But I just don't see first time on dirt being at the Kentucky Derby and that being a good thing, especially from the far outside post position. Now, Golden Tempo. Is a very deep closer. And, you know, kind of in the spirit of Mind That Bird or Rich Strike, if the whole thing falls apart and the fractions are super hot up front, who knows? This could be a horse that will come and surprise the world. And right now, his active odds are 50 to 1. Is that right? Hang on. 49 to 1, excuse me. So at 49 to 1, I'll and a horse that I kind of have a few good thoughts about. Yeah, I'll give that a shot. So now we're coming to my picks. Okay. There are horses that I really like. I told you about Golden Tempo. It's kind of a long shot, you know, throw a couple bucks on it across the board and say a prayer and see what happens. I really like Commandment, especially if his odds keep trickling up. Can't beat winning, and he's won 4 in a row. But there are a couple others that I like at a bit of a price, and I usually like to try to find something that's got a bit of a price. So one is Incredibolt, 2 for 2 at Churchill Downs. He won the Virginia Derby, and this is just one I've got a bit of a hunch about, and may not bet a lot on him, but I will at least have something on Incredibolt. My pick is Emerging Markets. Flavian Pratt is the jockey, and he just doesn't finish outside the money very often in Triple Crown races. I think he's got 22 Triple Crown races and has finished outside the money maybe 3 or 4 times. So really great record, a pretty strong record at Churchill Downs. I think Chad Brown, who's a fantastic trainer of Emerging Markets, he has not won a Derby yet, but I think he's due. Now, the kind of the knock against him is um, he's only has 2 career starts. Uh, the last time a horse won the Kentucky Derby with only 2 career starts was Leonidas in 1883. So we're really looking at shaking up history here. But there's a lot that I like about this horse. He really ran a strong Louisiana Derby, and uh, that I think that this is my pick this year. And uh, so gave you kind of 4 to choose from. Commandment, if you want to get something that's a little shorter odds, but very strong horse. If you really want one that's going to, just to break the bank if it wins, that would be Golden Tempo. Incredible is kind of somewhere in between, but my pick is Emerging Markets. Now, we moved to Kentucky in 2004. So this will be my 23rd time betting on the Kentucky Derby. I've only been there in person twice, but it's a bucket list experience. You ought to go. Try to find a way to get there, and if you can, do it upright. Make it that once in a lifetime thing, because it is really something special. But in those 22 years of watching and wagering on the Kentucky Derby, I've had 5 winners, 6 if you count Medina Spirit, which I do because I cashed the ticket. The suspension didn't come for months later, and that horse wasn't disqualified for long after that ticket had been cashed. And I've finished in the money 11 times, so half the time. So just a few things to think about as you're getting ready for your celebration of the Kentucky Derby. I hope that you will enjoy it and bet responsibly, bet wisely, drink responsibly, drink wisely. Just have a good time with it. Go get a hat if you want to get a hat. Make a mint julep. You want to make a mint julep. Most of all, have fun. It can be a really good time. A lot of fun ways to bet it. So enjoy. And if Marching Markets comes in, you can thank me later. All right. Next week, we'll be back with more on whiskey and music. We'll be got a band that I want to share with you called Mind Reader. We'll have one of the founders of that band on. That is Mind Reader, MYNDREADER. So that'll be fun. I've got Sexy Mike from My Whiskey Den is going to come on. We're going to review the new Tedeschi Trucks album. And I'll have Jason Johannes on again soon from All Things Blues and Southern Rock, so we can review the new Cold Stairs album, which comes out on Friday, May the 1st. So a lot of cool stuff to look forward to. Appreciate you tuning in and indulging me as I talk about horses, and hope that your horse is a winner and you're cashing tickets. So until next time, thank you very much. Happy Derby.